to another class with the dance floor activist, or me, Matthew Black. We're going to be doing a yoga class today focused around the stomach area, around our digestive system, and hopefully it will be a very calming class so that we can really feel like we're dropping into our parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest system. So we're going to start lying flat on our back. I've brought myself a pillow to the mat as well as a blanket. You might want them at the end of the class. Now, just before I turned the camera on, the sun was streaming in so brightly I closed the shutters. So I'm going to reopen the shutters so you've got a little bit more light on me. There we are. That's a bit better. And so take your position on the mat. Rest your head down. Open up the palms to the ceiling and let the feet drop out. And allow the whole body to give way to gravity. Taking some humongous deep breaths in and out. Wringing the air from your lungs and then inflating your lungs as much as you can, breathing in from the bottom of the rib cage, feeling your ribs open up in the floor beneath you, breathing all the way up to the top of the ribs, and then letting that air drain from your body again. Now from here, pulling the knees into the chest and giving yourself a hug. Tucking those knees as deep as you can into the tummy area and then moving them about however it feels nice for you in this moment. Ooh. So for me, I'm a little tight in the groin area, so I'm letting the knees drop out quite wide. However, if it was my lower back, I might pull my knees together. Oh, that feels good as well, actually. Giving my tail a little wag. Oh. And this 20-minute class is 20 minutes for you. So you should do whatever you feel like doing in this moment. And I'm giving you some suggestions and directing the way. But obviously, if there are any aches or pains in your body, any of the poses I suggest don't feel nice, then don't do them. I'll be offering something very shortly that you might enjoy. Now, bringing the knees apart, bringing the arms out and putting the elbows between the knees and holding onto the feet. We're in happy baby pose here. Now, your happy baby pose might be like this, stretching out the groin, or you might be able to push your feet to the ceiling and start pulling your hands down into your feet and pushing your feet back up to the ceiling to get a stretch into the hamstrings here. Now, ideally, you'd be pushing your tailbone down into the floor and pushing the feet up to the ceiling. Though, you know, for me that's quite an effort and I'm trying to do a nice relaxing class. So really, perhaps be a bit more gentle, maybe move one leg at a time. Oh, stretching out the back of the hamstrings. And then pulling the left knee into the chest and letting the right leg come down to the floor, resting the heel on the floor. Feeling the stretch here in the left bum cheek, in the left groin, ooh, maybe up into the hip. Sometimes it can feel a bit pinchy in the hip when you do this. Then letting the right leg join the left and swapping over. This is this pose here. It's called half wind release pose. So if you feel inspired, feel free to release some wind. And this is full wind release pose. And you can't do a class themed to digestion if you're not doing wind release pose. Anyway, I'm getting myself distracted. From here, resting your feet on the floor, bringing your feet together, and then allowing the knees to drop out to the side. Bring the elbows up in line with the shoulders. Have your arms at a right angle and let the hands drop out. Now some of you might be more like this with the wrists off the floor. especially if you're tight in the front of the shoulder here. Now you can always bring your hands a little bit your elbows a little bit further down, but if you can, get the elbows in line with the shoulders, keeping your elbow at a right angle. And you might, if you're a little tense in your shoulders, I certainly am, feel a stretch here in the rotator cuffs in the front of the shoulder. Now you might be tempted to start arching your back, but I want you to try and be mindful of keeping the natural curve of your spine. So you might need a little engagement of the pelvic floor muscles and the transversus abdominals, the muscles that wrap round the stomach. And those two sets of muscles, the pelvic floor muscles and the muscle that wrap round the tummy and back, work really well together as a chain of muscles to protect your lower back from overarching. Lovely. Now from here, we're going to rest the feet on the floor, the knees in the air, and bring the hands to rest down by the hips. Push down into the feet and lift the hips up to the ceiling. Lovely. Just gently rolling up and down. Now next time we do this, we want to be a little more exaggerated. So move the pillow from underneath your head if you've got one. And this time push up a little bit further. You can match your breath to the movement. Breathing out as you move, breathing in as you rest. Stretching the back of the neck. Really feeling your way through every vertebra. I'd like to ask you this time to point to the ceiling with your hands. Rest your shoulders down into the floor, and this time, as you roll up, allow the arms to come over the head and rest on the floor above your head. Pushing down into the feet. Now imagine you've got a balloon between your knees and you're giving that balloon a slight squeeze. And then rolling back down through the vertebra, keeping the shoulders resting in the floor as you move the hands back to point at the ceiling. Here I want to encourage you to release these neck muscles, what I sometimes call the iPhone muscles, your trapezius muscles, and instead to use the muscles that are naturally developed to move the arms, your latissimus dorsi muscles. So really relax the shoulders into the floor, coming up, pushing down to release the back of the neck, engaging the bottom muscles, the muscles in the back of the legs, and then as you come down, thinking about those back muscles moving the arms as you relax the neck muscles and the shoulders down into the floor. Lovely. Now taking the arms back above the head, extending the feet away, and stretching through the right arm and the right hand, so you come to lie a little bit like a banana. And then the other way through the left arm and the left leg. Lovely. And then coming to squeeze the knees back into the stomach, but holding the thighs this time. Pushing the feet away, tuck the chin and come up to boat pose. Now sit with a proud chest, elbows out, shoulders away from ears, and see if you can separate all the toes of your feet. Lovely. Now, I'm going to come and face you, but keep in your boat pose, unless you need a rest. And we're going to rest the feet to the right side of the body, but we're going to try and do that without touching the floor with our hands. So come and show me your hands, and then move the feet independently of resting the hands on the floor. Well done. Now, coming to hold the shin, lift the left arm up to the ceiling and feel a stretch down this side of your body. If you can, walk the hand out, take the left elbow to the ceiling and increase the stretch down the left side of your body. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, presenting your hands again, and see if you can take your legs back to boat pose without touching the floor, and then coming to the other side. Lovely. This is called mermaid pose, and this acts as your tail, if you imagine you're a mermaid. Taking the, I can't really imagine what it's like to be a mermaid. It's a mythical creature, but taking the right hand to the ceiling, holding onto the shin, or walking the hand out and taking the elbow to the ceiling. Quite like to dress up as a mermaid, however, or a merman. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, bringing your hands back forward and bringing the legs out to boat pose. Now coming to cross the legs and bring the hands over to the floor. Now some of you might want to take side saddle before coming onto your knees. I'm doing the show off way by coming straight over. We're going to spread the fingers, the pointy finger or the index finger facing the front of the mat, and then taking your shoulders around the wrist, just gently warming up into the wrist, one way and the other. Now we're focusing on the tummy, so I want you to really let the tummy go. Drop the tummy to the floor, extend through the top of the spine, really opening that tummy. Give your cow pose, this is called cow pose by the way, cow pose a little wiggle, like you're a cow waggling its tail. Then tuck the tailbone under, round the shoulders out, and again give your cow a little wiggle. Lovely. Then stepping the right leg forward and feeling the stretch in the groin area, maybe your hip flexor on the left hip, the front of the left hip, and come back. And then stepping the left leg forward and again giving yourself a little wiggle. Ooh. Now, I'd like to encourage you to step your right leg forward again, have a wiggle, and then the left foot forward again, have a wiggle, or step both legs forward. Now that might not be suitable for everyone. If you feel like your heels are lifting off the floor, then just step one leg and back, and then the next leg and back. However, if you're comfortable here, you can come and bring your hands together, push your wrists down into the floor, and then draw little circles with them, just warming up into the wrists again a little more. And encouraging the knees to separate, sitting with an increasingly straight spine as we do this. Now, whatever position you're in, place the hands on the floor, step your feet underneath your hips, relax the neck and the shoulders, and then very, very gently tuck the tailbone under and roll up one vertebrae at a time. Inhaling, engage the leg muscles, engage the bottom muscles and bring the arms over your head, bring the hands together to your heart. Now this is, in yoga we call this a mudra, and it's a prayer mudra, which none of you will be surprised at, because it's what many religions do to express thanks, to be mindful of something that they might wish to pray for or think about or meditate on. And whenever I do this, or I have a class where we do this a number of times, then I always encourage people to say a little prayer or be mindful of something that's playing on their mind, and I encourage you to do that now. A good thing in yoga perhaps to think about is your body, being thankful for the health you have, and thinking about resting the mind from any concerns you have, trying to bring a habit of thought to your breath rather than the habits of thoughts you might ordinarily have in your daily life. So being able to focus in on your breath rather than thoughts that bring you into the past or the future, so worries about the past or worries about the future. So when you can sort of breathe, you allow your body to come into the system, the parasympathetic system, nervous system of the body that helps you relax. And when you're relaxed, you can digest your food, your heartbeat slows down, you can reduce your blood pressure. All of these acts by the simple act of slowing down your breath. It's the same if you maybe sing in a choir or meditate, and again for many people if they pray. So from here we're going to go and stand at the top of the mat. Inhale, take a high salute. Exhale, tip your tailbone in the air and forward fold. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders. Now from here, press against the shins and extend the spine, trying to create a flat back. Take a deep inhale, feel the stretch in the back of the legs and the strength in your neck. Tuck your chin a little bit, like you want to give yourself a double chin. Exhale, rest the hands on the floor and step the legs back. You can pop your knees on the floor or you can have the knees off the floor, but feel the strength across your chest, your tummy, your legs, your bottom. Then exhale, tip your tailbone in the air, reach your arms forward and rest your elbows on the floor. Open up the tummy and come and rest the head on the floor or the chin. You can always pop a pillow or a blanket underneath your head if it feels like the floor is a bit far away for you to be able to rest your head on the floor. I'm looking to feel a stretch in my shoulders, perhaps my armpits. Taking a few deep breaths here. It's called puppy pose, by the way. And then from there, coming forward to lay on your tummy. Now we're going to bring the hands quite wide, push the lower ribs into the floor, push the pubic bone down into the floor, engage the bottom muscles and the legs, take the chest forward for a low cobra. And then from there, pushing down into the hands and coming to tabletop. We're going to bring the right knee to the right wrist. Then trick the heel around and sit on your right bum cheek. So there are lots of rights and lefts there. I'm going to pick up this foot and move it so that your leg here is in a right angle. And then press your right hand down into the floor, your left hand down into the floor, and bring your nose to your big toe. Hopefully you're feeling a stretch in your right bum cheek. Lovely, and release. Bringing your hands back and bringing your left knee to your left wrist. Rest your left hip on the floor, pick up your left toe, create a right angle here in the leg, and again, bring your nose to your big toe. Ooh. Ooh, quite achy on that side. Whew. And then coming back. Now, sitting with your knees really wide, big toes together, I have an option here, which is to bring the hands and rest them. You can even tuck them in your trousers. Rest them in your real lower abdomen. And then come and rest your forehead on the floor and let your elbows drop out. this feels a little bit strange, you can always rest your hands on your thighs or out here by your head. Now let's take some really purposeful breaths into the lower ribs here, opening the chest. And then bringing all the air from our bodies. Lovely. Now, gently coming to sit up. I'm going to just take a moment to say thank you for tuning into this video, for taking the time to look after your body and have a stretch out, to be mindful of caring for yourself. But now what I'm going to invite you to do is lie on your back, pop a pillow under your head, put the blanket over your body, and I'm going to talk you through a little relaxation and meditation. Hopefully I'll see you again next week with another class, or perhaps even in my Zoom classes if you can make any of the live classes. I'm now doing a Monday evening Zumba if that's interesting to you, or the Saturday dance hit class. Otherwise, if these really suit you, these classes, then that's great. I'm pleased you're accessing them and getting some fitness into your working week. So hopefully by now you're lying flat on the floor. I'm going to keep sitting up so I can talk to the microphone. And I encourage you to sort of lie there, allow the video to run out. Hopefully you haven't got it on, you've turned off play next video. And you can have a little relaxation for as long as you want. Maybe you want to put your phone on a 10-minute countdown or something, just in case you fall asleep and you've got things to do. So coming to relax your eyes, you let your gaze soften or your eyes close. Let the back of the neck be long, the shoulders relaxed, and the breath deep in your body. Allowing the stomach to rise and fall to the rhythm of your breath. Release the jaw, give it a wobble, and then let your face expression completely release. For the next few minutes you've got nowhere to be, no one to impress, nothing to act upon. Coming to think about your hips, your bottom, your lower back, and encouraging those muscles to relax so that your legs can feel the full weight of gravity. And allow your breath to settle into a slightly deeper breathing habit than your normal daily life. Increasing the length of your out breath and increasing the amount that you inhale from the bottom of the ribs all the way up to the top of the lungs, just underneath your collarbone or clavicle. And if you're going to stay there for a while, then tuck yourself in, make yourself comfortable, and give yourself permission to breathe, relax, and let go.